Well, hello everyone. Better get my mic up here. Um, Take a little break for like a week doing videos, and I can't even remember if I actually did my newsletter last week. I don't think I did, even though I was, been doing these little videos and kind of put them together as kind of a weekly update. Of course, if you saw my kind of big news last week, I'm going to be farming this next year, which is exciting and also like scary because the ag economy is weird, and plus just getting into it directly again after a long hiatus. Yeah, there's just a lot of things tied to it. Everything in farming to do it is actually, it's just a lot of steps. There's a lot of complication. There's a lot of things one has to do. So yeah, it's one thing when you think about it, which has been on my brain for so long, and I think about all these things. And I take a pause, and then I think about it again. But now it's like, oh no, it's literally on the mind, just like, oh, okay, I got to do this, so I got to do that. Oh, I should do this. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I should do that. Anyways, it it's different when you're actually going to do it. Of course, that's the point that I kind of wanted to talk about today, and maybe just for the week. While I did these little videos, I'm finding just even doing that, I can't focus on an idea or a thought. It's kind of like too rambled, and it's better if I just kind of put it out there. But I am going to try a shorter video and then just putting that out for the newsletter and just calling it kind of a day. Of course, I've wanted to follow up on that news and talk about where I plan to go with things. Well, the simple answer is I don't know exactly. I have a lot of ideas around how I'd like to approach it. Um, I'll be honest, half of me wants to go like full ag tech into the farm. It's not a ton, it's about 775 acres of tillable ground. So, I can't do everything. I also can't do everything because I could overdo it and I could risk not doing it right. This first year is, as much as I want to involve so much of the tech and the things that I've seen and connected to and talked about and even have myself, uh, sometimes you just got to dip your toes in and keep it simple too, just to get the feet wet, get everything going, do all the basic things and not, yeah, overwhelm yourself. And it's kind of a battle back and forth. As much as I want to make it this kind of tech showcase farm that I've envisioned and test all these things and try all these things and from various different groups and things in the tech world, precision ag world, I also know that that can just be very distracting. And really, I just need to get a crop in. It needs to do well and it needs to show success, not only for myself, but for my family, for my wife, for my mother-in-law. It's their land, and I plan to farm it a very long time, and I plan for my kids to be able to. So there's that. Of course, that's also the thing. That is why it can be hard for a lot of farmers to really utilize technology on their farm. It isn't because inherently they don't want to try different things and use data to help them with their decisions or to change rates in a field or to validate XYZ or try to make it more resilient, less risk, more sustainable. Um, it's not that they don't want to do any of those things. It's that where the risk reward is different. Um, as much as I, like I said, want to add in all these things, and I'll do more than the average probably farmer. Of course I will, because of just how I am and connected and all these things. I will be testing some things, but they're things that are not need to be really tested. They work. They are real things. They've been validated before. It's just I'll do them for me, and I'll maybe open up some of the data so people can kind of help me. I'll get more on that here, but it's weird. As much as I think about it, it's like, oh, I want to do this, 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 make it this, tech and show it and help everybody and, kind of be this thing. Part of me is like, oh, do I really want everybody to see my first year farming in 15 years and kind of betting a lot on it? So I could mess up, I could screw up. I could show the world I don't know what I'm doing, or I could, make myself look like an idiot. I could use too much of this stuff and, like I said, get distracted and mess something up even bigger than the thing I'm trying to help. As much as I've been a proponent of, say, variable rate and things of that nature, well, you can mess that up too. Machine might not be set right. Maybe spent too much money on actually getting the equipment lined up to do it. And you just waste a bunch of time. You don't get your crop in at the right time. And if you don't get it at the right time with the right, depending on where the season is, that could hurt you way more than what the VRA could ever benefit you. I know this is probably one of the biggest factors why people don't do it. It's not that inherently they don't know that there's variability in the field and that there are different ways to handle it. It's that when push comes to shove, timing of just getting it in the field at the right time is a bigger deal. And there's more risk of not doing it there than trying to mess with all this other crap. And I know that reality. And so then it makes you take a double take and like, okay, maybe I just need to worry about getting everything going and just doing it. The 40 core decisions every farmer makes a year. For me in the first year, it's probably double that, maybe triple that. There's all these other little things that, you think about once you have to do them. Before I was like, well, I'll deal with that when I get there. No, it's like, no, I have to deal with that. Like, getting an operating loan and putting all the financials together and, almost got to pitch it to the bank and say, hey, like, yeah, I'm a little riskier because I'm in a first year situation and, I got to buy equipment so I can do it. And yeah, this year in farming prices are not great. The outlook is weird. Hey, please help, please give me money. Like that's really the number one thing I got to think about right now is just put together a plan so that that'll work. And I'll have to go I'll have to go a different route than probably a lot of guys do. Plenty of accumulated cash over years, and they use some of that for their operating, or they have equipment paid for, some of it at least. Might have chemical and fertilizer already bought and seed already bought for at least some of it. Fertilizer bought. I don't have that done yet because I have to get the first things done. So it's like all these extra stressors and processes involved. So it's like, yeah, tech part of it is like, I'll deal with it when I get there. That's more of the, it's not the most important thing, but that's the thing. That's why adoption is lower in AgTech and precision ag. It's not necessarily because the tools are bad or it's overpriced or there's not enough information on how it works or it's too hard. I mean, yes, all those play into it. All these contextual problems, but really it's kind of this emotional baggage of, God, that's just too much to deal with. I don't think I can handle it because I got all the other things. If I don't get these other things figured out, I can't even think about that. And by the time you get to the moment where you can think about it, it might be a week before you got to get in the field and you're just like, oh, crap. Well, I'm just not going to get that done. that's the moment. And then you might go through the season, you're sitting, going through the crop, scouting in, you're like, oh gosh, I really should have put the time in to do that. Because geez, this area is really bad, and I spent too much money here, and geez, I'm going to lose money here. You see the yield monitor go through if you have that, or you just see it kind of inherently as you're driving through it, combining it. Like, oh crap, I really should have done that different. And then you're like, I'm going to do that next year. And then the same crap happens, same cycle, the same stressors, the same decisions, and just the wheels start spinning again. You're like, well, I'll okay, I want to do that. I'll get there. I'll get there when I get there. And then other things in life happen. Whatever that is, everyone's got a different story to tell and different reasons for that. And it's easier to trust what you did before. And if it like worked enough and you made enough money, you're like, okay, well, that worked. And I'm like, okay. If you add all these other risk factors in, you're like, well, I should do that, but gosh, I could mess it up. I could create this perfect map and then do it and apply it. It might be the wrong way to do it because the next year it rained too much when I really set it to be more average, or it didn't rain enough, which I thought it was going to rain more. All of those factors then come and play in and mess you up. This is inherently it's an emotional problem. It's a time problem. The emotional part then gets into, like I started out with, oh, you don't want to you don't want to piss off the landlord because you risk too much trying all this crazy stuff. Oh, these biologicals. Oh, well, I no-tilled instead of tilling, and I used more conservation here. I did this. Like you want to keep the status quo so you can keep going. And when you do these other things, like risk other things, you're risking the whole situation. So it's easier to just do what all the neighbors do because that's consistent. At least if you do the same thing all the neighbors do and things don't work out well, you can at least say, well, that's what everyone else did, and it's just nothing worked for anybody. So, don't hate me on that. If I try all these newfangled things that others locally really don't do, then there's an opportunity to look bad, to say, well, I tried this and oh gosh, it didn't work. And they'd be like, well, the other neighbors didn't, and their crop was fine. Like, yeah, well, I'm trying to do better. It's things like that that get in the way too. It's how others might feel about it, how they might judge you on trying something different. Like, I'll definitely farm probably different than a good chunk of the people around me. But should I? Especially starting off. I maybe should keep the status quo just to actually almost feel comfortable myself, because people up there I've never farmed up there. I've seen it. I have friends up there. There's family up there that have farmed it. And a lot of them farm very similar in their ways. A little different things here and there, but majority do kind of the same thing. And they're all mostly very successful up there. Everyone's done historically pretty well. So then it becomes, oh gosh, do you go against that? Like, that's a hard decision. It's like, geez, I don't know. Maybe you don't. And just to stay calm and collected, it's like, I'm just going to talk to those people and say, what have you done? And match it. Be like, well, if everyone else is doing it, must be kind of the way to do it. I should go with those varieties. I should go with those crops. I should just spray it with that. I should get similar equipment. Do it kind of the same way. And that's a challenging conundrum. Now, with all that said, I come to think about it too, is everyone doing the same thing because they're feeling this exact same way every year, all the time? The answer is probably yes. With variation, sure. Um, but everyone's kind of stuck in the same thing. Everyone wants to challenge themselves and do something different, but they can't because of the fear, of the risk, of the perception, of how they'll look. Maybe that's where I can change it, going in new and fresh and be like, hey, kind of like, the rookie quarterback going into their first season into whatever, high school, college, NFL. It's like everyone is okay with them messing up a little bit and not being perfect because they haven't been in the game as long, or they're new to this, or they just have to feel it out a little bit. But they play a little differently. That's why they are starting. They are a little different. Um, Maybe it is right to go full in, and then I can become an example for others to try it because something maybe I did got them off of that uncomfortable mindset. Like, oh, well, he variable rated this. I've always thought that and did it and seemed to, at least got it done. Whether it'll work or not, at least did it. Oh, you used like these different sensors. Those are cool. Maybe I got them free because, I know some people and I am getting some stuff like that. It might help that neighbor say, "Oh, geez, that's kind of cool. I was kind of afraid of spending $500, but it worked really good for him. Geez, I should probably do that. I'm going to do that." It kind of gives confidence. So part of me thinks I could be this kind of beacon tech farm for the area and say, "Hey, it's okay. Like I'm lucky maybe because I can kind of de-risk part of that pool just because I'm me, but I'm unique. I got to use my unique features to help the local area, the region, farm better inherently of how we think in the tech world. Because that's relative and that's not always perfect. It's like, oh, maybe maybe that's the maybe that's the way to go about it too. And kind of showcasing the possibilities. Be a possibility farm. I don't use the farm as much as just growing grain and selling it like a normal commodity farm in this state, which is basically all of them. I could become the farm becomes a platform to you're really selling data and ideas or ways to do things. And then people come to you with questions and maybe you can charge for that, or maybe someone wants to pay you to speak that out, which I know there are people that kind of feel that way with where I'm at. I don't know how I'll do that or if I will do that, but it's this balance of trying new things because you have to, while also sticking to kind of reality and how things work. And if I could help, my colleagues showcase their stuff in a good light to my neighbors who can see that and say, "Well, that was helpful." Then you kind of evolve into a different kind of category and you can be unique, and that can actually help the farm long term better than just staying with the status quo. Just do everything the same thing that everyone's done, which I don't really want to do, but I feel like I should. So, as you can probably see if you're reading this, watching this, or listening to it, this is not easy. It's not just the physical work, it's the mental game. It's the mental prep, it's the risk of looking bad, it's the risk of disappointment. This is inherently why a lot of farmers don't do this stuff, that they don't really use data and technology to the extent they really could. It's one thing if it's auto steer up and down the field or some shit like that, section control or whatever. It's the intensity of the other things, the data intensity And then, we think, well, farmers don't want to do it because they're afraid of where their data could go and it could be used against them. Well, yes, that is very accurate, but maybe it's not in the way we think or perceive or assume. It might be more around they might have the data, they might create it, and it's generally fine. They might be more afraid to see it themselves because it could prove that they messed up somewhere, because it would. Every farmer messes up somewhere in a field, no matter what. And it proves that in their minds. It's like, oh crap. I really spent too much money there and lost money there and over applied, and gosh, that screwed me. And when data proves it, it's like you feel bad. Just as much as if you're playing a game and the stats prove that you played a bad game. That hurts you as a player. So with all this said, there are all these little factors that kind of play into that. And maybe for farmers, when it comes to making all this data and putting it somewhere, it's really not about the fear of others using it against them technically, like with regulation or something like that, or they're going to use it to manipulate your farm and your data, whatever. Well, yes, I guess too. It's there's maybe this fear of it being used almost like as warfare against you, but not against you directly, against yourself, against yourself. It's using the data to show that you're not doing well or you should be better, telling you what to do, and then forcing you to change when you're not comfortable doing it. It might, you want to learn other data from other farmers because it will help you maybe make a decision. It's like, oh, your neighbor tried this. It's like, hey, how did you do on it? They're like, oh, it worked pretty good. You should try it too. I got a few extra bushels. In reality, that might not be true at all. They don't really want to share that data that it maybe didn't work because they might look dumb that they spent $20 on an acre on something that didn't work. They can say it did and feel good about it and kind of make their neighbor feel good about them, saying, oh, yeah, I'm a good farmer. I tried these new things and it worked. Well, where's the data to prove it? Well, I don't really have that. It's just that's kind of what I saw. That's usually how it goes. Of course, that's the best sales tactic too. If the neighbor farmer says it to the other farmer and they do it, I mean, that's the best salesman. It's not the person actually that's the seed or chemical or whatever tech person said that they're pitching it. It's really the farmer using it, liking it, and telling other farmers. But when we don't share that data and prove it and showcase that, how do we really know that that's the valid thing? Because every farm's also different. So you can't necessarily always take the neighbor's word for it because how they farmed it and how you do it are different. Your soils are different too. Things that you can't really control. So unless we share that and understand all that, we really can't do a good job of it either. It's a quagmire. It's a paradox. That's the problem with a lot of this stuff. It's a problem with farming. Is as much as we want to share out what we do, and people do, they're also scared to because of the fear of what people might think of you as a bad farmer. Because if you're labeled as a bad farmer, that never goes away and it spreads. It's like a cancer in a local community. It really is. Like I've lived in one. I know who all the bad farmers are because everyone talks about it. For the ones that are different. And that can be harder to that can hold you back from farming and being successful more than the actual things that you're doing. Is just how others perceive you, because then you start questioning yourself. You don't have the confidence to actually do the good things, the right things that everyone else does. And then, so everyone sticks to the status quo, because if everyone's wrong at the same time, then everyone's wrong. Then everyone's okay. Oh, it rained too much. Oh, we didn't do this. Ah, we all did it the same way. So, we're all failing. Like things go really good. Oh, everyone did great because everyone did the same thing. When you deviate from that, and if you didn't do as well, and then you share that information out, someone can prove to you that you were bad. And maybe worse, you know it yourself, that you messed up. This is the inherent problem with it all, with using tech in any realm in farming, is the emotional fear of it all and all the things I just talked about. So that's what I'm dealing with right now. That's why I've been a little more quiet, maybe. I'm excited. I showcase that. I want to like say all these things, but I also am like, oh God, do I really want to do that? Do I want to showcase to the world that I might fuck up, basically? Because I could, and I could screw up, and no one else around me would. And then people don't want to listen to what I want to hear because I messed up. So that's it for today. Curious on how you think about all this, but yeah, should be a good one. But this is real too. So think through that. This stuff's hard. It's tough. It's more than just the physical things we do with technology and physical things we do in farming. It is a mental game. And it's complicated. It's a fun complication and it's challenging and I like it. But these are things everyone needs to realize in this stuff too, because if you don't, then you don't have the right perspective and why or why not people use any of this crap. It's a pretty big deal. So hopefully this helped shine some light. This is kind of my probably game going forward, even though I say all this crazy crap all the time. Like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I know I'm jumping all around. Part of it is because I've just been waiting to do this. And so I've been jumping around to all these other things, trying to, I don't know, make myself feel good and get attention, maybe. In reality, I've just been really wanting to focus on this and farming and talk through it and how maybe all the tech makes me feel around it, just like I just did. And that feels good though too. So I might do that more because it's really breaking down all those other pieces that people don't see or hear because of that fear. So at least I guess if I do use all this tech on the farm and it doesn't work, at least there's history showing that I thought about it in this way and I can explain it at the very least. That's all everyone wants to do when they screw up. They just want to explain why they did it. Hopefully have a little peace that people understand that and still are okay with them and they can move forward. So there we go. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening and hopefully subscribe and follow and all that fun crap. Later.